All show long, we have had the pleasure of having Rachel Parker from Parker Group joining us here on the couch. We do really appreciate every time you stop in, Rachel, but I wanted to get you a chance to talk about something you guys have coming up for aspiring entrepreneurs, people trying to get out there and make something of themselves.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really excited about this. We're calling it From Roots to Rocket, which I'll get into briefly, but essentially this is kind of the event that I wish existed when Dustin and I were starting a business. There are just all of these questions that come at you when you're doing this that people kind of assume you should know, but you have no idea. So should you file as an LLC or an S Corp? How do you set up a marketing plan when you've never marketed anything before, but now all of a sudden you're an entrepreneur and you need to have social media, and you need to have print advertising and all of these things. And so really the purpose of this event is just to give people a practical toolkit that they can walk away with and feel a lot more confident stepping out into starting their dream business.
Well, and I think that's really important because one of the things that people take, I think, maybe for granted is you can have a great business idea, or maybe you've got a lot of expertise in this area. That doesn't mean you understand the whole playing field, and you got to wear a lot of hats when you're going to be an entrepreneur.
Absolutely, absolutely. And honestly, a lot of it, I think, starts with mindset. And so that's why we're calling it From Roots to Rocket. Might sound a little bit funny, but it's because of who's participating in this. So to us, the roots, and it's always been at the heart of our mission at the Parker Group, is community. And so Madeline Wright, who is a local trauma-informed care educator, is coming in to talk about, first of all, how our experiences as humans impact us in interacting with others, but then also talking about the importance of community connection and feeling firmly grounded and networked into a community to tap into. And then we're going to be talking at the Parker Group about the fuel for the rocket, which is marketing. And so just a basic, easy, no jargon, 101 marketing class. And then the rocketing part is John Malora, who is actually a former rocket scientist turned
just a little side gig, former rocket
casually,
scientist.
Yes. And now he's an elite performance coach. And so he's going to talk about beating things like imposter syndrome, perfectionism, fear, and really having the right mindset to launch.
Well, how could somebody, if they want to look up any information about this, if they want to get involved, how do they do that?
Yes, we would love to. Any questions, please feel free to reach out. But the event is on Eventbrite, and if you have trouble finding it, you can search Roots to Rocket on there. It's going to be on Thursday, September 25th, right at the Parker Group offices in Georgetown. It's also posted on my Facebook page, so Rachel Parker. You can find it on Madeline Wright, John Malora, or the Parker Group. So we tried to spread it as wide as we could.
Think it's a great idea. Sounds like something that'll be really good, especially for people trying to get their foot in the door on that next big thing they want to undertake.
Absolutely, and share those services with the community. I mean, those people are people that are visionary and are doing great things on Delmarva. We want to help them. Well,
now let's transition to our next talker of the day, and this is, I think, a different world than you or I grew up in.
Yes.
It is, things have started to change here, and it's all about AI in the classrooms. And listen to these stats because they're pretty stark. 1 in 5 students readily admit they've used AI in ways they consider outright cheating on assessments and assignments. An additional 25% operate in that gray area. Only 20% avoid AI entirely. And a large majority of both the public schools and private schools see this as a pressing issue. So how much different does this feel to you than, like, say, when I went to the school? Like, we had the internet and you could, that was useful, but it wasn't like you could type in, like, I'm reading Chaucer. Could you write me a 25-page this and make it sound like this level? Like, there's just so much to deal with.
There is, yeah. And it really is a game changer. And I think what's important, in my opinion, to remember is not only is education changing, but the professional skills that our students need are changing too. And so being able to write a 5-paragraph essay might not be quite as important of a skill as much as the critical thinking behind the essay, how you structure it. And so I don't know if this resonates with you, but I always laugh when people put up these memes on Facebook where it's like, my math teacher told me, what do you think, you're gonna have a calculator in your pocket all the time? Yep. And then like whip out their iPhone and like, yeah, I've got the most powerful calculator in the whole world. I think educators, unfortunately, are probably gonna have to adjust to say, maybe sending kids home to do an assignment is not the best use of time. Maybe it should be more like a workshop in class where we work things through together.
I think that what we're going to start to see, and I could be wrong about this, but this is just based off all the stuff I follow, is you're going to start to see a little bit of both. I think you were going to start to see a real rise in the old blue books coming back into classrooms,
I remember.
having to write it out, which is a real bummer for people like me who just have the worst handwriting in America. But I think that they're going to have to start doing some of that, or even like oral presentations where you have to stand up in front of the class, so that even if you used AI to derive some of the information, you've got to be able to go stand up and prove you have a mastery of the context of what's going on, because I don't know how else we're going to effectively test people anymore.
It's a moving target for sure. Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this one. We're going to take a break here. You're going to really like joining us on the next part. We've got food coming up, and that's not all. We've got more Coast Life heading your way.